Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks very much for coming to our performance of J.S. Bach's Coffee Cantata. So I'm Bob Gerenbeck. I'm the Director of Choral Activities here at UW-Whitewater. And I'm just going to say a few words about the background of the music, and we're actually going to demonstrate a little bit of the music before we play it through. So, as you probably know, Bach is most famous for his religious vocal music, such as oratorios and cantatas, but he also composed a number of secular cantatas, such as this one, which is nicknamed the Coffee Cantata. And as in all works of this type, there's basically two kinds of music. There's recitatives, which are sung dialogue with harpsichord and cello only, and singers. And this is very speech-like, and they move the plot forward. And then there are arias, which are longer, sung by one person, where that person dwells on a single emotion and various facets of that emotion for some time. So this is very much like opera from the same time period, the 18th century. The libretto is by a friend of Bach named Christian Friedrich Henrici, and it's about the coffee craze that was gripping Europe in the middle of the 18th century. But more than that, it's about family relationships, specifically about the conflict between a very traditionally minded father and his more worldly daughter. So the father thinks that coffee is not appropriate for a young woman to be drinking, and she thinks otherwise. So in the original version of the libretto from 1732, the plot ends at what is movement 8 in Bach's version, which is the last aria. This is the aria where the daughter sings about how happy she is to forsake coffee because now she's going to be able to get married. So that's how it ended originally, but then Bach added two more movements that aren't in the original libretto by his friend. So he added a final recitative where the narrator explains that actually the daughter has gone behind her father's back and spread the word that she will only marry someone who allows her to drink coffee as a married woman. So she, in effect, outwits her father with this little twist of the plot. And then in the last movement, everyone, the whole family gets together and sings about, well, everyone's drinking coffee now anyway, even grandma, so we might as well let the daughters drink it too. So this is interesting from Bach's biography because, of course, he had a large family, as you may know, including two daughters at this time. His youngest daughter was actually named Elizabeth, which is the same name as the daughter in this libretto, translated as Lizzie in English. But Elizabeth Bach was only 8 years old in 1734 when he wrote the music, so she probably was not the coffee drinker in the family. But he also had an older daughter whose name was Katharina Dorothea Bach, and she was in her 20s at that time. And we don't know so much about Bach's older daughter, but given the fact that he himself was known for being a very feisty character and got in arguments with people all the time, it's very likely that his older daughter shared that trait and may have tried to argue with her father on occasion. So it seems likely that this music, as Bach created it, does reflect his own family experience to a degree at least. So, all right, so I'm going to introduce our cast of characters. In our performance, we've sort of spread the wealth around for the singers. We have two fathers and two daughters. So, father number one is Schlendrian, which is the name of the original libretto, which in German it means humbug. And that is sung by Jacob Kruger. And then his daughter, Lizzie, is sung by Molly Wanless. And then the next father, whom we've given the name Grumpy Gus, is Tanner Angezeff. And then his daughter, Missy, is Alexis Nungaray. And then finally we have the narrator, Hunter Gebauer, who explains everything and holds everything together. So finally, before we play this, I would like to have the orchestra demonstrate a little bit of each of the four arias. I think the recitatives are very self-explanatory. We're singing this in English, as you know, so if you can follow along and listen, and the plot should be clear. But the arias, I wanted to just point out a couple facets of the music. So we'll go through these one by one. So we'll do the beginning of movement 2. Do you want to stand? Or, yeah, go ahead and stand up. And this aria is sung by Schlendrian, so father number 1. And you can hear, even before he sings, the orchestra sort of paints a picture of how agitated he is. He's blustery, hard-nosed, and obsessive. So here's the music. Aria number 1. And then the next aria, sung by Lizzie, she's sort of head in the clouds, pining away for coffee, fluttering over the music as demonstrated by the flute. So that's kind of the first half of the piece. And then the third aria is again sung by the father, this time Grumpy Gus. And in this aria, he's putting his foot down, he's angry, he's crafty, trying to find a solution to this dilemma within his family. So you hear a little bit of this music. And then finally, the last aria is sung by Missy, and this is when she's found out that her father is going to find a rich and clever husband for her, and so she's so happy and doesn't care about coffee anymore, or so she says, and her heart almost skips a beat in this little dance for joy. Listen to each of those motives that come at the beginning of each aria, and they'll come back during the course of the music, and they help to portray what the characters are thinking about as well as singing about. So I would just like to end by expressing my thanks to my colleagues Leanne Lee and Rachel Wood, who worked behind the scenes to make this possible, and also thank you to Bach Around the Clock for including us in your schedule of performance celebrating Bach's birthday. So, without further ado, we'll move on to Bach's Coffee Cantata. Thank you.
Be silent, not a word, and listen for what has occurred. The Schlendrian comes by, see to his daughter, is he there? He rolls just like a grizzly bird. 1 minute, and we'll tell you why.
Children of 10 times our headaches, 100,000 miseries.
children oftentimes are headaches, 100,000 miseries. Every day I plead with Lizzie, argue with her till I'm dizzy, but the point she never sees. Every day I plead with Lizzie, argue with her till I'm dizzy, but the point she never sees, but the point she never sees. Day by day I plead with Lizzie, argue with her till I'm dizzy, but the point she never sees. Every day I plead with Lizzie, argue with her till I'm dizzy, argue, moralize, and tease, but the point she never sees. Though I argue till I'm dizzy, yet the point she never sees. Children oftentimes are headaches, 100,000 miseries. Children oftentimes are headaches, 100,000 miseries. 100,000 miseries, 100,000 miseries. Children are an awful headache, 100,000 miseries, 100,000 miseries. Naughty child, you naughty Lizzie, come, will you never mend your ways? Give up this coffee craze,